Today we're gonna make a blueberry like sweet sourdough with inclusions, which I've never done before, so let's see how it goes. We're starting off measuring about 350 grams of water. That's like 70% of the 500 grams of flour I'm gonna be using. And then I'm measuring out the starter, which is supposed to float when you put it into the water. That's kind of how you know it's at the right peak.
Well, it's kind of floating actually.
Now we mix the water and the starter and then add the flour, and we just kind of like mix this into a shaggy dough is what everybody says, but just keep mixing until it's kind of combined. And then I go in with my hands because I find that easier to do the final like knead. And then I will cover it and let it sit for about an hour. And then I went in and did my first set of folds. This is my first set of 4, which I always wet my hands and then I just fold it like this about 4 times and maybe a 5th if it doesn't resist too much, and then let it sit again for 30 minutes. Now we're doing our second round, and you wet your hands again, and I kind of like scrape it from the sides of the bowl if it's a little too sticky. And then just repeat that process until you've done 4 of these folds, and then I let it sit on the counter overnight for its main proofing. I realized that I wasn't recording the next morning, but this was like 7 a.m. and I took it out of the bowl and laid it out on the counter like this. And I put in brown sugar and frozen blueberries as my inclusions. And then you'll fold it kind of like a pamphlet, and then I'm gonna add some inclusions to that middle part before we roll it into its final shape. Once I shaped it, I let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes and then just shaped it one more time to make sure that there was enough tension on the dough. Once that was done, I let it sit in the fridge in a Banneton for another 8 to 12 hours. And I baked this at 450 with the lid covered for 30 minutes and then for another 20-25 uncovered. It tasted like sourdough with some blueberries occasionally in it. Honestly, I thought it was going to be sweeter, but next time I'll try some honey.